it becomes almost a second nature to the Indian businessman within India that, yeah, that's a given. I mean, why are you worried about it taking 2 weeks for a product to move across 3 states? It's only 2 weeks. Yeah. You know, so that would be the reaction of most Indian entrepreneurs. So, I mean, I go back to the time 1980 when I started working, you couldn't import fax machines. So I had to create documentation to show a photo typesetting machine, which was legal to import, okay? A fax machine was converted into a photo typesetting machine to be imported. Okay, the first Apple computers that I brought into the business also came in as photo typesetters. Okay, so you are forced to be innovative or creative. But most guys coming out of the West, where this stuff is taken for granted, okay, we're saying, what is this nonsense or bullshit, if I may use the term? But it's become second nature to most businessmen, not only in India, but I would say to an extent in Indonesia and Malaysia and Thailand and in most of South and Southeast Asia. It's a very Asian thing. You just take these things for granted. But I also agree fully with you that if you take all these issues out, the creativity would be directed in the areas where it should actually be focused on. Okay, that's not happening. And I think that is the biggest danger. And the country that's focusing and benefiting hugely from that is Singapore. That invest in their biopolis, where they're really attracting the best talent, the best minds to come in and actually innovate in their economy. But then Singapore will benefit, not India. But in India, we'll be very happy to read in the papers, researcher of Indian origin created anti-cancer drug. Okay, that'll give the Indians a big kick. So that's the problem.
Right. Okay, thank you for that. I actually was reminded of this movie called Badmaash Company. Whoever's seen it, they kind of innovated the way they imported the products at the time there were import duties. So if you haven't seen it, must watch. That was probably one of the best innovations I've seen in terms of an import business. So that sort of brings us to the next point where I'm quite keen to understand myself in terms of the financial services and the financial services background and ease with which you would be able to get loans. I know with US venture capital firms and private equity firms, it's a huge interest area, but looking at India as a country, looking at the state banks and looking at the public sector lending, given the focus, how, and I'd like to again maybe start off with you, Atul, because you've probably been running this company. How easy or tough has it been to sort of interface with the banks or any of the financial services institutions?
I think it's getting increasingly difficult now. When I started out, actually, I had no security collateral. And I picked up my first facility in the old-fashioned way. I happened to meet Mr. Vagul, who was the then CMD of ICICI, which was a development financial institution at the time. It was not a bank. I had a project. I had no financing. This was a project in Indonesia. No bank could touch me. And banks know, in a family split, who's got the collateral and who doesn't. I must have knocked on 50 banks' doors, junior manager, chairman, everybody in between, whoever would give me time, I'd go meet them. No luck.